Hi guys, welcome. So today, this is going to be somewhere between 45 and 50 minutes. I can't promise you the exact number until the end, but it will be a Vinyāsa class today. And as always, we'll start with a little bit of time just in stillness to get us settled. You can lie down, you can be seated, anywhere that will be relatively comfortable. If you've got blocks, that would be fabulous. I'm going to be using a slightly different block today just because I left my yoga blocks in London. So I'm going to be using Pilates blocks. Doesn't particularly matter on the form of block or block substitute you use. But if you've got anything you can use, that would be lovely. If you're familiar with the pose, it will be for a half moon variation. So if you know that you're comfortable without one for that, or there's a specific kind of thing you like for that, like level you like for that, then yeah, take a moment to get yourself set up. Eyes can be open or closed as you feel most comfortable. And then just as you start to find where you'd like to begin today, just take a couple moments for you and just see if there are any little things that you can do that just might help to settle you into that space. Whether that wants to look like yawning, like sighing. You can take really, really big movements, little movements. As always, this is your space to start to come to your practice, to start to symbolize care to yourself. So take the time you need to start to settle yourself in. If the movement's helpful, you can move as much as you like for as long as you like. But we're going to begin by taking some time to focus on grounding. So we start very literally by tuning into the grounding sensations that you can feel. So pay attention to any of the kind of supports around you or beneath you. If you're lying down, there might be a contact with the ground around the head, spine, soles of the feet if they're planted. If you're seated, maybe around the sit bones, knees and ankles for some of us. But invite yourself to really start to tune in to that sensation. See if you can kind of really viscerally feel it. Feel where you have those supports, where the ground comes to meet you. And experiment with this feeling of like you are letting the body be supported there, like you're allowing it to be held. Quite a sweet thing to bring into this sometimes is this remembering that the ground or the earth is one of these kind of symbols for connection. It's one of these things that supports all of us. So you can really remind yourself that it's able to hold you. If it feels okay, really encourage yourself to soften. Might not happen immediately, but you can just start to softly practice that. Inviting in this feeling of kind of just gently being met, gently being held. If you haven't already, begin to bring the awareness to the flow of breath that comes in and out the body. Every single day, every single practice will feel a little bit different. To give yourself space just to see what might be helpful today. Some days it can be a lovely practice just to witness your flow of breath as it is. Finding this element of kind of listening or watching, witnessing if you like. Or on other days it might feel more helpful or more connecting to instead work with steadying your breath or deepening your breath. Whichever of these practices that you choose to engage with today, the breath can be such a wonderful way to start to collect care, to collect focus, to allow us to keep dropping into these more feeling ways of being for practice. Start to engage a little more with this principle of connection, I guess. This time of year can be quite a tough one for many, many reasons for lots of us. The days are a little darker and a little shorter, and there's this kind of ending in sight, this wrapping up of the year. And that can bring super wonderful things, a chance to look at all that has happened, can also be kind of challenging. And also at the same time, there is this big emphasis on community and celebration and coming together, which again can be such a wonderful thing. And then I'm sure for all of us in many nuanced ways also brings its own challenges. So it could not be the case for you, but it might be the case that you're holding quite a lot at the moment. Potentially quite a few contradicting forces within you or in your life. If that does resonate or it does feel like the case, it can sometimes be quite powerful just to simply acknowledge that. And then just keep drawing back to the steadiness, simpleness of your breath. Just to gently scan through yourself, continually come back to meet yourself here. You don't have to be or to feel any particular way to come to your mat. This is your space to start to embody or practice care, embody and practice connection. It's kind of these two things that weave in and out of one another continually for practice. Okay, we're going to ease into some movement in just a moment. If you'd like a specific intention for your practice, feel free to set that. It doesn't have to be big or doesn't have to be poetic, but it could just be a simple word or a phrase that you might like to come back to today. We're going to take a couple sides together just to find a bit of release. So when you find your next exhale, let's take a big inhale through the nose. And a nice big sigh out. Letting it go. If you want to make noise, make some noise. Big breath in. Nice long breath out. One more at your own pace, no rush. Letting it go. Then we're going to begin moving down from lying down today. So if you are not there already, just starting to bring yourself to lie down. As and when you get there, if you want to take the knees into your chest and give yourself a nice big squeeze. You can start to move a little bit here if you like, maybe rocking side to side, kind of massaging the low spine a little bit, just beginning to come into sensation. And as much as it feels good today, you can keep your breath with you, and that'll keep you a little more in this feeling state, this connecting state as we come into the body. All right, we're going to start opening into the outer hips. So take your left sole of the foot down to the ground. Right ankle's going to go on top of your thigh like a figure four. And then feel like you're pressing the right knee down and away. Now there might be some really nice sensation that starts to creep up here. If so, you can start to breathe with it there. If you're not feeling too much or you want to try a different variation, you can peel the legs in a little closer towards your chest. And as always, if you want to move in the pose, you can move. So if you want to rock side to side, forwards and back, if that is helpful, take your time to start to move. If the hands have gone to the legs, just maybe notice if it feels like your shoulders are gripping, try let them soften. All right, we're going to turn this into a little bit of core work. So releasing any binds, wrap your right leg over the left. If the left foot was planted, bring it to lift. Now press your lower spine down and you can gently press the thighs away with your hands and you're going to feel your core engage a little bit. You can stay there if you like, or there are options to reach your fingertips to your toes. You can lift the head if you like, or lift the whole upper back. Any variation you're in, 3 breaths. Now do your best to try and steady the breath. I know this is not an easy place to steady your breath, so be kind to yourself. Breathe through the tension. End of your third exhale, both knees can go over to the left, and if you'd like to, expand the arms out nice and wide. Allow the body to take up some space. If you want to take little movements in the shoulders, you can encourage them to soften. If you'd like to twist through the neck, maybe turning to the right. And just seeing if you can engage with the moment, letting the body soften. Find that support of the ground again. Okay, second side. Start to unravel. Knees back to the chest, give yourself a squeeze. And then we will go second side. So right sole of the foot to the ground, left ankle on the thigh this time. Press that left knee down and away. Sometimes sides of the body are different. Might feel super lovely to stay here. Or again, you can peel the legs a little closer to your chest. If you want to move, feel free to move. 2 more breaths here. Okay, when you're ready, we'll turn it into our core work. So wrapping the left leg over or making your eagle legs. Press your lower spine down, feet will lift. You can stay, you can reach fingertips, lift head or whole upper back. 3 breaths. For 2. And for 1. When you release, both knees can go over to the right. Again, feel free to extend the arms out nice and wide. If you want to move, you can move. Give the shoulders some movement. Maybe head turns to the left. Okay, we'll start to unravel. And from here, we're going to be making our way to tabletop. So your choice, you can roll over onto one side to take your way there, or you can rock and roll up and down the length of the spine and then crossing the shins once you are upright to make your way to tabletop. Today, to warm up the wrists, we're going to spread the fingertips out nice and wide, create a little clawing motion in the hands, Hasta Bandha, and just start to draw little circles with your shoulders, almost like you were drawing them around your wrists. So bring your breath back to the movement if it feels like it's gone anywhere else. There's a specific breath practice you want to use today, whether it's a steady breath or starting to find your ujjayi. And really start to pay attention to the sensations around the wrists, around the hands. It's going to start to open, strengthen, warm up the wrists, but it's also going to help us increase proprioception along the hands, really helpful for practice. Go back the other way if you haven't already. So notice what it feels like to have sensation on the heels of the hands, little finger, ring finger, you get the idea, knuckles. 1 more breath. Come back to neutral if you're not there already. And then we're going to warm up the forearms a little bit by tenting up onto the fingertips. Feel like you're scrunching the mat in and you're going to feel the forearms engage a little bit. We're going to cat-cow from here. Inhale, wraps the shoulders back. Lifts up the chest. As you exhale, press the ground away. Doming the spine, chin to chest. 2 more cat-cows. If it gets a little much for the fingertips at any point, feel free to flatten your palms. 1 more at your own pace. Now the body's going to feel different every single day. So we're just starting to warm in today, seeing where it might be at. So your choice, you can take another 2 cat-cows, or if you prefer, just start to take your own expression of movement here. Any organic movement that feels nice. You can involve the neck, the shoulders, hips, sides of the body. Let's say 1 more breath at your own pace. When you're ready, plant the hands. Inhale, prepare, tuck your toes. As you exhale, start to press the ground away, and we'll come and find our first downward facing dog of the practice. So take your time to start to ease in. If you want to move, feel free to move, whether it's bending one knee than the other. Take a sigh, shake the head. All right, next inhale, let's lift up the right leg. Take a bend in your knee, open up the hip, and then just pause there. Take a moment to find the sensation, breathe into it, and then feel like you're pressing the left heel down. Next, exhale, let's take the foot back down to the ground and we're going to Vinyāsa. So you inhale to ripple forward to a plank, knees can be up or down, look forwards. As you exhale, draw the elbows in to come the whole way down to the ground. Inhale your Cobra, Bhujangasana, grip with the fingers, shoulders back, point toes. Exhale, you make your way back and you decide where you would like to go back to. Some nice options could be your child's pose. You can kind of wiggle around through the hips there. It's a nice one to release the low spine. You could come back to tabletop if you liked your own free movement there. Or same from your downward facing dog. Let's say another 2. Moving in your own way. And 1, we're going to take second side. You can take it from down dog or tabletop. Inhale, the left leg lifts. As you exhale, bend the knee, open the hip, really let the body twist open. Chin drops down to the chest. Press the right heel down, breathe into it.
Exhale the foot down. Again, we vinyasa, you ripple forwards. You could do the same as before. As you exhale, maybe you bend the elbows halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale opens the chest, keep gripping your fingers. Try soften the shoulders once you've come into your back bend, cobra or up dog. Exhale takes you back. You decide where to. Tabletop, child's pose, or down dog. 3 to 4 breaths here. Using the breath, time and time again, to keep drawing you back to feeling, to focus, to connecting. All right, we're going to start to make our way to the top of the mat. Again, you can get there from down dog or tabletop, walking, stepping, or jumping your feet towards your hands. We're going to meet an Uttanasana forward fold. Little bend in the knees, chin drops down to your chest, hands to opposite elbows if you like. Take a little dangle here, sway, let the back of the neck soften. And see if you can really encourage a heaviness through the head here. This one's always kind of interesting because it's the more that you allow the head to let go, you're going to start to find some sensation, some opening into the upper back. One more breath. Releasing any binds. Next inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Weight to your heels, lengthen the spine. And exhale again, we fold. Whole way to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Press down through your feet, sweep up your arms, look up to the thumbs. As you exhale, Samastitihi, hands down through prayer. Just take a moment here, eyes can be open or closed. Start to really ground down through your feet. Let the top of the head lift. And soften your shoulders down. Come back to your breath practice, draw it in. If there is an intention you're working with today, just take it back to your breath. Allowing this space to start to become your own moving meditation. When you're ready, blink the eyes open, hands come down, Surya A. Inhale, sweep up the arms, look to thumbs. As you exhale, feel free to bend your knees as you fold, chin drops to the chest, almost like you're trying to look to belly button. Inhale, we come up halfway. Exhale, it's your vinyasa. Hands to the ground, make your way back to your plank, walking, stepping, or jumping. The exhale will lower you down as you draw the elbows in. Inhale, will open up the chest, gripping with the fingers, looking up. And the exhale takes you back. Tabletop, down dog, or child's pose. 3 to 4 breaths. If you want to move, feel free to move. For another 2. And 1. We're going to keep it moving. If you're in down dog, next inhale, tiptoes or looking to your hands. Walking, stepping, or jumping the feet back to the top of the mat. When you're there, we inhale, lift halfway. Think about the weight going to your heels. As you exhale, you fold. Weight goes a little more towards your toes. Whole way to standing. Press through your feet. Sweep up arms. Look to the thumbs. Let's keep it flowing. Straight back down. Forward fold. Press palms. Chin to chest. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, hands to the ground. Walking, stepping, jumping your way back. Exhale lowers you down if you haven't already. See if you can use the whole length of your inhale to open your chest. Your exhale takes you back. So don't worry if you're a little slower, a little faster than me. We're all very, very excellently different. So we're going to move in different ways. Bodies will want and need different things. You can have your own expression of the movements. Let's stay here for another 2. Pose of your choice. And 1. Okay. Inhale, tiptoes, grip fingers. Bend your knees, walking, stepping, or jumping back to the top of the mat. Lifting up halfway. And exhale to fold. Last Surya A. Press through your feet, look up to the hands. Straight back down as you exhale, press palms, forward fold. Inhale, we lift and lengthen. If you are working on your jumps, you can always take a little bit of weight to the hands first before you take your feet back. And it's going to start to take the hips just a little bit higher. Once you've come through your vinyasa, decide where you'd like to be. Child's pose, tabletop, down dog, 3 more breaths. As much as you can, trying to collect the breath. If you're in down dog, Hasta Bandha, grip your fingers. Any other pose, notice the connection with the ground. For 2. And 1, look just past the fingertips. Bend your knees. If you're jumping, think of pressing into the palms. Lift the chest. Inhale, we lift.
And we exhale to fold.
Whole way to standing, Urdhva Hastasana, press through the feet. This time, Samastitihi, hands down through prayer. We're going to go straight to chair pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up by the ears. Surya B variation.
We exhale, fold, chin to chest.
Inhale, you lift up halfway. Exhale, it's your transition. Walking, stepping, or jumping back. The exhale can take you down. And know the Vinyāsa is totally optional. For any point you want to go straight to down dog or a different pose or take a different expression of movement, you're super welcome to. Next sequence we can take from down dog or tabletop. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale the knee to the nose, dome the spine, chin to chest. Inhale the leg back high. Now we're going to work to a low lunge today. So knee to the nose, work the foot towards your hand. Once you're there, we take the back knee down. And we're going to inhale to sweep up. All right, we're going to open into the shoulders. So start to get into it. Give the shoulders a little bit of movement if you like. If you want to go deeper, you can interlace your hands, see how that feels in similar movements. If you want to go deeper still, you can pulse. You inhale, prepare. Exhale, press through the right big toe and then feel like you're trying to point at something back behind you. 2 more breaths, moving as you like. Pay attention to if your body stops breathing. Probably means it's trying to tell you something. 1 more breath. Start to release and decide how you'd like to get back to down dog. You can Vinyāsa, you can cat-cow if you prefer. Or maybe taking a moment to move in your own way. Again, we'll take second side from down dog. Inhale the left leg high. Use your breath, knee to nose, dome the spine. Press the ground away. Inhale the leg high. Then take your time to work the foot towards the hands. As and when you get there, take the back knee down. Inhale, sweeps up the arms. And we get back into it. So start to move the shoulders any way you like. If you do interlace the hands again, Kali Mudra, first finger up. Notice the way you do it naturally. You can switch your thumbs, switch your fingers, nice for your brain. And if you want to pulse, you pulse, inhale, prepares, you squeeze the glutes, press through the front big toe to try and point at something back behind you. 2 more breaths moving in your own way. When you're ready to let it go, hands come down to frame your front foot. Decide how you get back to down dog, Vinyāsa-ing, cat-cowing, or maybe going straight there. Once you've got to down dog, decide where you'd like to be. Next 4 breaths. Inhaling. If you want to move between the poses, no, you can. If you've gone to one pose, does not mean you have to stay in it. If you are in down dog, something you can play with. Really let the chin drop to your chest. Try at the back of the neck. Release. Take a little bend in your knees. Then try to take the hips just a tiny bit higher. You can stay there. If you'd like to, you can play with re-extending the legs. 1 more breath. Inhale, tiptoes, look forwards. Bend the knees, walking, stepping, or jumping. Think of lifting the chest. Inhale, we come up halfway. And we exhale back down. Back to chair pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up by the ears. Come back to standing, Samastitihi. Press through your feet. Take a moment. If you want to sigh, take a sigh or any breath you like. All right, we're going to go back to chair pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up by the ears. And here we're going to start to twist. As you exhale, you're going to think about twisting towards your right shoulder. So for some of us, elbow might go down towards the thigh. If there's a bit more space, you can use your forearm and have the right hand on the hip instead. Think of the top of the head going forwards. And then like you're trying to wrap your right shoulder open to get that rotation. 1 more breath. Have a little check in your knees, see what they're up to. If one's poking in front of the other, just means we're twisting in the hips more than the spine. Not a bad thing, but we're focusing on spine today. So encourage the knees back towards one another, then open that right shoulder back up. All right, we're gonna balance. Look down to the ground, bring the weight onto your right foot, come onto the left big toe. You can hold there, option one. If you'd like to, there's an option to lift off the foot. If you prefer, you can extend the leg back behind you. 2 more breaths. And 1. Now from where you are, that left knee is gonna start to come into your chest. So really, really press down through your right foot. Keep lifting the chest up and up and up. Hands come to prayer, find a drishti. Now we keep twisting, so now the eyes will move. Drishti will move as you look over the left shoulder. That might make you wobble. You can stay there. You can take the foot to the ground for more support, or if you want to bind to work the twist, right hand can go outside of knee, or for some of us, right hand to the outside of your foot. 2 more breaths. Focus on pressing down through the right foot and lifting the heart. Okay, now we're going to turn this to an open hip balance. So start to look forwards. Your left hand is either going to go to the inside of your left knee or peace fingers to big toe. Same if you want some support for the balance, foot can go to the ground. Press down through your right heel, lift up the chest. 1 more breath, find somewhere to soften the eyes. All right, now from here, we're going to work on some active hip mobility. So release any binds, bend the leg if it's not there already. Left knee is going to go up, and you're going to think about really slowly taking the foot back behind you. Try to keep the eyes fixed on one spot. Take it back where it just was. Nice. Last one here, take it back. Then you can stay, keep it open and active, the foot as it is, or you reach your left hand back for a dancer's bind. Kick the foot to the hand, proprioception can be tricky, take your time. Think of the heart lifting forwards and up. 2 more breaths. Last one, and let that go. If the ankle needs a shake, give it a shake. If hands need a shake, give it a shake. All right, second side. Let's take a sigh, shrug the shoulders up. Let it go, sigh it out. Bend your knees, chair pose, look up to the hands. Second side, twist towards your left shoulder. So take your time to find the variation, whether it's elbow down or forearm, and then other hand to the hip. Top of the head goes forwards. Then you're wrapping the left shoulder open. Have a check-in with those knees. All right, look down to the ground. You might hold here. You can come to right big toe. You can lift the heel. You can take the leg back. For 2. If you're taking the leg back, think head forwards, it'll help. For 1, now from where you've been, press down through the left foot. Right knee comes the whole way into the chest. Once you've found your way to upright, you continue to twist. So you start to look towards the right shoulder. Tends to be the further you take your eyes back, the more wobbly it might start to get. You can have foot on the ground, left hand outside of knee, or left hand outside of foot. Focus on lifting the top of the head and wrapping that right shoulder back. Press down through the left heel, lift the heart. All right, let's look back forwards, open hip variation. So either peace fingers to big toe or inside of knee. Foot can go to the ground if you want support for the balance as you open out the hip. Press down through the left heel still, keep lifting the center of the chest. Let's hold for another 2. Try find the breath. And 1. All right, release any binds, active hip mobility. Circle the knee up, kick that foot back behind you. 1 more like that. Take it back forward. Knee goes out to the side like you're drawing a nice big semicircle, actually quarter circle. All right, you can stay active or reach the right hand back, going towards your dancer's pose. 3 breaths. Think of lifting the heart forwards and up for 2. Your last breath. On 1, let it release. Give everything a shake that wants a shake. All right. We're going to do just a little bit of a sequence from our chair pose. Then we're going to come back to that dancer's pose again. So again, let's sigh, shrug the shoulders up. Let it go. Bend the knees, sweep up the arms. And then we're going to go half chair, Ardha Utkatasana. So you draw the fingertips back behind you and let the top of the head come forwards. Hold here. Option 1, keep with the feet balanced. If you'd like to, you can play with something else by taking the weight to the heels, see if you can lift your toes, or you reverse that, weight to the tiptoes and lift up the heels. 1 more breath in your variation, top of the head keeps going forwards. If you'd like to, you can bend your knees a little deeper. Then when you're ready, we're all gonna take our knees out to the side, bring your fingertips to the ground, the floor in front of you, and peel them away. Chin to the chest. If you wanna move, you can move here, little sways if that feels nice. Now you're super, super welcome to stay here. If you're a person that likes to do your arm balances, you wanna do your thing, your crow to headstand, you are very welcome to. Or if anyone just wants some guidance towards crow, I'm gonna give that now. So, hands will go underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide because they're what we're using to balance Hasta Bandha and grip with the fingers. Hips are gonna go high and you're gonna think of looking forwards. You bend your knees and you're snuggling the knees towards your armpits. Now your head is heavier than you think, so you wanna lift up your chin. You can hold there. If you are gonna lift, using an exhale is helpful. Maybe it's 1 foot, maybe it's 2. If you have gone up or upside down, we're gonna meet with the feet back at the top of the mat. Let's all come back to the squat. If you're not there already, fingertips forwards, inhaling, exhaling. Now from here, we're gonna go for a forward fold. So straighten your legs. Hands will go to the backs of the legs. Inhale, look up slightly. Exhale, deepens your fold. Slide the hands down towards your ankles. Chin drops to the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. One more breath here. And then let's slowly release. Balance your pressed toes and heels through the feet. And then we're gonna roll up to upright. So pressing down, peeling up the spine. When you're there, wrap the shoulders up. And let's take a sigh out. All right, last little bit of sequence on both sides here. We are gonna take our blocks and get them set up if you're using them for your half moon variation. Do you want them kind of just about to the diagonal of either of your feet? So what we are going to do, I'll show you what I mean first. I'm gonna balance on the left leg. You wanna find somewhere to fix your eyes, bend the right knee up. So we're starting in this dancer's pose, and this is a tricky transition, so we might wobble around a bit. You're gonna bend the left knee, and you're seeing if you can take your left hand whole way down to find your block. For some of us, the ground. Oh, my blocks are so deeply wobbly. And then you're gonna think about opening up the chest from there. All right, so when you're ready, weight to your left foot. Find somewhere to focus your eyes. Nice. If you're not there already, lifting the chest and then taking it down. Once you're there, think of it like more of a bow pose. Kick into your left heel, lift up the chest. For 2. We're going to meet in a warrior 2. So release your right leg, step it to the back of the mat. Shrug the shoulders up. If you want to sigh, feel free. Reversing the warrior, flip your front palm, take it up and over the head. Keep the legs nice and steady, bend into the left knee. Start to straighten that left leg, one more breath. Now arms go back to a T shape, but you're gonna turn your right foot out so it's now facing the back of your mat. We're going to a Skandasana, so you bend the right knee, so it's really different in different people's bodies. Might be something like this, a little higher up. Some of us, just depending on the shape of your pelvis or the space that there is in the hips, you might go a little lower down. One more breath, think of lifting up the heart. Now we're going to twist to the back of the mat. So left hand is going to go down by your right foot, and we're going to inhale the arm up to the sky. Think a little bit like you're almost trying to draw your right hip back. One more breath. Now we're going to a variation of wild thing. If you know where you're going and you want to do your thing, feel free. If you're with me, we're going to drop the left knee down to the ground, and then we're going to be circling that right foot in a kind of big circle, almost like you're tracing a circle on the ground to take it back behind you. Give the glutes a squeeze and feel like you're taking hips and heart up towards the ceiling. For 2. For 1. Now from where you are, you're gonna see if you can take your hips down to the ground, and hopefully you might end up facing back at the top of your mat. Who knows? All right, if you're not there, get your way there. And we're gonna take ourselves back to down dog to find second side. Your choice. You can swizzle the legs behind you to come straight to down dog, or we can go through a boat pose and a vinyasa. Hands under the knees, you lift the chest. As you exhale, you cross your shins, hands come forward, walking, stepping, or jumping your way back. Decide how you would like to get there. And we'll meet in down dog when you're ready. A breath or a sigh. And we come back to the top of the mat, tiptoes. Like just past the hands, walk, step, or jump. Inhale, lifts the chest. And exhale, fold. Whole way back to upright. Press through your feet, sweep up the arms, look to the thumbs. Samastiti here, hands down through prayer. Find somewhere to fix your eyes. Second side dancer's pose. Take the weight to your right foot. I'm going to peel up the left leg. Take the hand towards it. So from here, you slowly work this balancing transition again. So you're bending the right knee. Right hand's working its way whole way down to your block. I don't think you get to do this transition without having fallen over a couple times. So embrace it if that's the case today. One more inhale. Nice, let's meet in warrior two. Left leg to the back of the mat. Press through the feet, shrug the shoulders up. Let them come down as you exhale. Flip open the front palm, reverse your warrior. Keep bending the right knee towards the little toe side of your foot. When you're ready, you straighten the right leg. Arms go back to a T, now it's Skandasana. Turn the left foot to the back of the mat. Start to drop your hips towards your left heel, whether it's a little higher up or a little lower down. Lift the heart to the thumbs. Twisting towards the back of your mat. Right hand comes down to the ground by your left foot. And inhale the left arm up to the ceiling. Top of the head forwards, gently pull the left hip back. All right, your wild thing variation. If you're taking the knee down with me, right knee goes to the ground, left leg draws a big circle, circles around as far as it can go, hips and heart reach up to the ceiling. Another two, if it feels okay, maybe release the neck. And one. When you're ready, start to drop the hips down to the ground. We did it. And again, we're going to get back to down dog. So you can swizzle around, you can vinyasa, decide how you'd like to get there. You can also take a vinyasa if you swizzle the legs around two. And then we'll hold for another two. I'm actually going to meet in a tabletop on one. So when you're ready, dropping the knees. Any little movements that you like here. Now, this next little bit of sequence, I'm going to give quite a few options. I'm going to kind of show you the options and then just feel free to play around with what is your sort of flavor. So for those of us that have a comfortable split, I'm going to give that option first, then I'll give a couple more. It's going to be a side plank to a split variation. So the weight's going to go to your left hand, and we're going to start to come into your side plank. Those of us who are working the split option, we start Vashisthasana. So you're bending your left knee to plant the big toe, and the right piece finger can go to your top leg, and then we're starting to kind of open the hips here, open the chest. Then from here, you're going to look towards your top hand to see if you can take the right foot whole way to the top of the mat. Something like that. All right. Other options are, we can take the similar thing from any version of a side plank. Whether you've got the left knee down or the feet are stacking, still think of lifting up the chest, looking to your top hand. Then with the right foot, we're going to see if we can get it to lift. Then you step it the whole way to the top of the mat, and we can find our half splits variation. You straighten the right leg. You might want to take your hands to blocks either side of the leg. We inhale, lift the chest, and then we exhale, fold. So if you haven't gone through your sequence yet, decide where you'd like to be. We'll all meet in a splits variation or a half splits variation. If you want to ripple with the breath, you let the inhale lift the chest, and the exhale, fold you just a little deeper. All right, from here, feel like you're drawing the right hip slightly back. Nice, okay, last little bit. If you were using blocks, take them out towards this side. Now, both hands are gonna go to the inside of your right foot. Transition is to three-legged dog or three-legged dolphin, your choice. We tuck the back toes, sweep that right leg up. You can stay here, or if you want to go three-legged dolphin, you drop the elbows down to the ground and hold here. Another 3 breaths. Wherever you are, chin to chest. Press through your contact points on the ground. And we'll meet back in tabletop. Knees to the ground, come to the hands if you've left them. Any expression of movement that you like. All right, second side. So your Side plank variation. Take the weight to your right hand, start to look up towards the left. So you can have the right knee down, you can have the feet stacking, you can go Vashisthasana, lifting up the top leg, decide where you'd like to be. Wherever you are, focus on pressing down to help you lift up. If you're in Vashi B with the leg lifted, you want to think about a little bit of a back bend. Now start to look towards your right hand. Left foot's going to make its way towards the top of the mat, full splits or half splits variation. Do your best to straighten the left leg. Inhale, take your blocks if you'd like them. Take them under the hands, lift the chest. And then we exhale to fold. 2 more breaths. Any variation is lovely. And last one here on 1. Hold for a breath. Feel like you're drawing your left hip slightly back. Now both hands inside of the left leg. You transition towards your 3-legged dog or 3-legged dolphin. Left leg's gonna go the whole way up to the sky. Whether you're staying here or taking the elbows down. Another 2. And 1. Again, we come back to tabletop. Knees to the ground, hands back to the ground. If you want a cat-cow, feel free to cat-cow to release the spine. Otherwise, your own expression of movement here. All right, team. From here, we're going to come to a Sphinx pose. We're going to start to wind it down just a little bit. So take the forearms to the ground, and we're going to get there using a forearm plank. So tuck the toes, take them back behind you. I know I just said winding down. I actually mean in like 3 poses time. Squeeze your glutes. Look a little bit towards your hands. And then if they're not there already, drop the hips down to the ground. Now you want to have your elbows round about just underneath your shoulders. Spread the fingertips and feel like you're trying to draw your elbows towards your hips. Press the hips to the ground and feel like you're almost trying to lift your hips towards your hands. Gently tuck the chin. 3 breaths in Sphinx. Press the big toes down. For 2. And 1. You can let some of the holding in the pose release, just relax for a moment. Now options, this will be around 5 to 8 breaths. If you're enjoying Sphinx, you can be here. If you want to do something similar with more weight in the core, we tuck toes, we lift hips, we can hold in forearm plank. If you're a person that prefers to invert, you want to do your headstand or forearm stand, you can walk the feet in. Maybe you're just holding in dolphin to build strength, or you start to lift the leg, look towards the hands to start to work your way up. Let's say another 5. If you're in an inversion, particularly your pincher, you want to grip with the fingers, you can use them to balance. Another 3. 2. If you're not there already, we're going to meet back in Sphinx. So taking the hips back down to the ground. 1 more inhale. Let that go on 1. Take the fingertips out just a little bit wider than your mat. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, right shoulder down, look over the left. Inhale up through center. Exhale, left shoulder down. 1 more through center. And then whole way down. Let's find crocodile pose. Stack your hands, rest the forehead to the hands. If the body wants to make any noises as we start to release, feel free. We worked loads of balancing today. It was majority balancing poses. So a lot of us building stability in the physical body. So this is a really lovely energetic balance. Yeah, sorry about our breath. We are really allowing ourselves to be fully grounded. It's a more literal definition of grounding. That can be interesting, what happens to the breath, the mind, the practice, when we give ourselves access to that support again. If it's helpful, you can rock the hips a little bit side to side. That can be a nice one to release the low spine. It's also going to increase the surface area of the legs that touch the ground, which is a helpful way to encourage them to release. If you'd like to, you can massage a lovely pressure point in the center of the brow just by simply rocking the head side to side. This is one of our calming pressure points, relates into some of the parasympathetic nervous system. So we'll start to send just some subtle signals of releasing, safety, of letting go back to the body. Okay, from here, we're going to mimic 2 of those balancing poses we did, but now with a little more support, so it can be interesting how they feel different. Start to bend up the right leg, take your right hand back towards it. First, let's just open up the quads. Press the hips down and feel like you're really encouraging your heel towards the glute. Some of us are going to get some super nice sensation here. If you happen to have very open quads and it feels okay in your knee, you can also draw the foot out to the side. Hold here for another 2. And 1. Okay, from there, now we're going to turn this into a lying down dancer's pose. So now kick the foot into your hand and feel the chest lift. You can stay. You can extend the left arm forward if you like, hand on the ground, or you can work with any points lifting. Right knee if you like, left leg or left hand. 2 more breaths. Now lying down Tripassana, left elbow is going to go out in line with your left shoulder, sorry. Roll over towards the left. You can keep a hold of the foot if that feels okay as you encourage the head to the ground. If it's a little intense around the shoulder, feel free to release the right leg, and you can take a similar variation here for 2. And 1, come back to center. Right knee is going to go to the side in line with your hip for a half frog pose. Leg kind of like a right angle shape. Hands under the shoulders, lift up the chest. And then exhale back down. Just 1 more like that. No rush. Kind of like an up dog variation or a cobra variation. Exhale down. Crocodile between sides. Stack the knees. Stack the hands, rest the forehead. Any movements, sound effects, breaths, sighs. Second side, bend up the left leg, left hand towards the foot. Squeeze the heel in. Open up the quad, press the hips down, maybe there, maybe foot to the side. Lying down dancers. Right hand forwards, kick the left foot into your hand, lift the chest. Sorry, right hand forwards. You can stay there. You can lift the knee, the right leg, or the right hand. Lying down Tripassana, right elbow or right arm goes out to the side, and you roll over to the right, relax down the head. You can stay, or you can release the foot, take the same pose with an extended leg. Opening the inner hips, half frog. Left knee goes out to the side of the pelvis. Right angle shape in the leg. Press through the hands to lift the chest. And exhale to come back down. You can go as high or as low as you like. Just 1 more there. Taking the knees back towards one another, crocodile pose. Stack the hands, rest the forehead. Just like we did right at the beginning, notice the sensation of the ground beneath you. Encourage yourself to be supported by it. Now, super simple today, we're going to take ourselves to lie down onto our backs. So you can just roll yourself over till the back body's on the ground. And then just like we began, take the knees to your chest, give yourself a lovely big squeeze. If you want to move, you can move, take your time. Let's take a happy baby together. Feet will come out nice and wide. Hands can go to the feet or anywhere down along the legs. Again, if you want to move, you can. You can extend the legs, you can bend them deeper. Those of us with lots of space in the hips, happy baby, Yogi Nidrasana is kind of like another version of happy baby. There's a similar thing in the hips. Yogi Nidrasana is where we take the soles of the feet together. You're kind of wiggling the legs behind your shoulders to eventually work the feet to hook and the hands back. Again, this isn't a pose you have to be interested in. If it is one for you, it's there. One more breath. Start to release when you're ready. And then, as always, a little bit of time for you. Feel into your body, into your practice. Decide if there might be any other movements, any other shapes that you'd like to make today before we come to close. If you feel ready to find your Shavasana, it can be any shape you would like it to be. Most importantly, somewhere the body can find support and start to soften. If you're closing, take all the time you need. Just join when you're ready. As and when you have found your Shavasana variation, whether it's lying down, on your side, seated meditation, I want to invite you to just take a final couple sighs. It can be a nice physical symbol of this letting go of the more physical parts of practice. Now, as fun, as lovely and as important the physical poses can be, and they are important, they allow us to get to know our bodies, to take care of the bodies, and to get to know ourselves in the process. But they don't have to be everything, they don't have to be the whole of practice to us. If there is something else that this space means to you, as you let the body start to rest, start to open, this could be your time to feel into any of the more expansive parts of your practice. We'll be here for around another 3 or so minutes today. If you need anything at any point, you need to move or anything like that, know you can take it as a kindness to yourself. Still at the center of the practice consistently sits care and connection.
Now, if you have the time and you'd like to stay a little longer, you are more than welcome to. You know what to do, just put me on pause. But if you feel ready to return, we can start just by deepening the breath again. Notice how it feels to have a bit more breath in the body. Then no rush, you'll know when you feel ready. But when you do, you can just start to welcome yourself back. Whether that is taking little movements, fingers, toes, yawning, stretching, sighing. And then again, no rush, you'll know when you feel ready. But when you do, we will close seated today. If you want to take some time on one side and you've been lying down, traditionally that's the right hand side. Take the time you need to come back to your seat. If there's anything you normally like to support you when you are seated, props or a cushion to sit on, anything like that, take the time you need to continue to care for the body. If you're still finding your way, no rush, just join when you feel ready. But once seated, we'll lift the head. Soften the shoulders. And gently lift the center of the chest. Take the hands to prayer, Anjali Mudra. And take a moment to again, just let your breath scan through the body. Notice where you might be at in this moment. Now, it won't be every time. If there was something today it feels like practice has given you or that was helpful, whether it was just a moment, a feeling, a concept, anything like that that you would like to keep with you, just take a moment to be with that. And then understanding that the word yoga, it really translates as connection. You can acknowledge for yourself that it doesn't just have to be something that exists in this space. It can be a much more expansive practice that you continue to take off your mat with you. Now, recently in class, I've been inviting people to close with the sound of Om. If that's something you're happy with, lovely, we'll do that together. If that's something you've not done before or you're curious about it, I'll just give a little bit of explanation, can be nice. So the word Om, what it translates as is the sound of everything, the sound of togetherness, or it's also thought of as the sound of creation. So one of the things we're doing when we're chanting is we're kind of speaking that into being, we're acknowledging that for one another. Then you kind of also get this shared vibration if you're chanting with a room with someone or you feel the vibration in your own body. If it's not your thing, absolutely fine. No, you can just sit and soak in the sounds. If you'd like to, we'll first take a sigh to cleanse and then we'll chant. So inhale, sigh it out. Inhale to chant. Inhale. Exhale, bow the head to your hands, bowing to your heart, your body, your practice in reverence, honoring this space and honoring the practice itself. It's been around for thousands of years in all of its wonderful forms to be here with us today so we can have our own definition of what yoga can mean. May all personal good that comes from this practice also ripple out to the world around us. Take your time to close your practice in your own way. Then Thank you, lovely people, for being here. If you've got any questions, anything, as always, you know where to find me. It was absolutely not 45 minutes long, so I'll put a note on the description not to listen to what I say at the beginning. Take care of yourself, guys. Hopefully see you soon.